All right, everyone. As of August 15th, it appears that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin will meet in Alaska, actually, to discuss possible ceasefire terms for the Ukraine war. Now, asking for a full peace deal is presumptively a little bit much. That's probably not going to happen because both Putin and Zelensky have said they're not ceding any territory. Russia claims all the territory that it currently holds in Ukraine. Zelensky claims basically Russia out. We're not ceding any of it. Fuck yourself. So Trump does have a little bit of an uphill battle with regards to these negotiations, which have gone relatively well. There's been constructive dialogue. Uh, but at the same time, the fighting continues, so there's not even a ceasefire at the moment. I mean, what little remained of the original ceasefire was violated immediately anyway, and so it really doesn't exist anymore. We've seen this before. We've seen this in Israel. We've seen this in Korea. We've seen this over and over again, year after year, all over the world. My hope is that peace breaks out, that some sort of constructive dialogue can lead to final negotiations and the war can end. Because the people of Ukraine, they just want to be left alone. The people of Russia, they just want to be left alone. The little people are the ones that suffer. It's the townspeople that will pay, basically. Politicians, they almost never do unless they happen to be Iranian. Politicians and military leaders and stuff, they gather together in their bunkers. It's basically like a Black Sabbath song. Listen to War Pigs if you haven't heard it, by the way. Link in the description, archived, of course. This meeting is a little bit odd because I believe that there is still an international arrest warrant out for Vladimir Putin. The fact that they're meeting, therefore, on U.S. territory is a little bit strange, I will admit. Not terribly strange, but it's just like it raises one eyebrow, I suppose. This will be a very interesting meeting. I do not expect it to end in a permanent ceasefire or anything like that. What I do expect it to end in is Vladimir Putin being effectively bullied by Donald Trump into some sort of concession, making some sort of arrangements for, I don't know, the withdrawal of troops from a province or something like that. I have a feeling he can do this because Russia is heavily reliant upon certain Western nations, which are at this point being subjugated one by the Trump administration through trade deals and things like that. If Russia angers him in any way, and if those allies don't follow suit in retaliation, he can always cut them off. He can do this pretty much unilaterally. This is one of the few truly authoritarian things that a president of the United States can do. Other than that, they're basically relegated to representing the nation diplomatically, fielding the military in the organized rather than disorganized sense, and diplomacy, things of that nature. This happens to be on the diplomatic end, by the way. At a meeting in Alaska, I would have invited him to a warmer climate myself. Hey, let's meet in Florida or some shit like that. I guess Alaska was closer, so that was the reason why. Alaska this time of year is filled with mosquitoes, by the way. Gigantic mosquitoes that can literally kill large animals because there are so many of them. One mosquito, it's not a problem. 10,000 of them, yeah, you're gonna lose a lot of blood there, dude. But I'm hoping that the peace talks here are meaningful. The US does need to take a more proactive role because consider this. Right now, we're propping up Ukraine. We're giving them a bunch of weapons, a bunch of money, a bunch of other aid, just pumping them full of steroids, basically. As long as the war continues to go on, there will be continued calls to continue doing so. Well, that's really bad for the US taxpayer. It's really bad for US diplomacy. But let's say that peace breaks out in the region. The war ends on some sort of amicable terms, or a ceasefire breaks out. Well, then you don't have the arms dealing anymore, that's for sure. You might have a rebuilding fund or something like that, which, again, I would oppose, but it might actually happen. But you won't have the arms sales because there's no more reason to deal the arms. You no longer have actual hostility going on. It will save Americans a lot of money. It will save a lot of Ukrainian and Russian lives, and would be the right thing, ethically speaking, to do. The fact that Donald Trump is the only Republican president in living memory to actually attempt to not do the nation building conquest thing is refreshing. Conversely, it's very, very strange to watch the left complain about this and say, no, 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 kill them all. We need to bomb Russia back to the Stone Age. It's very, very strange to see the left taking up that particular banner. It's something that I never thought that I would see in my lifetime. So hopefully Trump can get the deal sealed. It will not be a permanent ceasefire, and it certainly won't be a full-on peace deal. This is not going to be the final negotiation. If you think that, then you're very much more naive than me. But it does jumpstart things. It gets them moving. It gets the negotiations going. That's really what we need. That's about all. Peace out.